The number of positive coronavirus tests here in Montana is now nearing the 300 mark. In fact, 299 people have officially contracted the illness in Montana. 6 patients have died. Now, Gallatin County, the state's highest tally, adds another 6 since Sunday morning. Now with 116 positive tests, 88 of those individuals are under the age of 60. In Yellowstone County, the weekend brought 2 new cases, upping that total to 40, and Flathead County is third at 26. In Wyoming, as of this afternoon, the state now has 210 cases, still remains the only state in the entire country without a single reported death, and it's one of the only states without a stay-at-home order. Laramie, Teton, and Fremont counties still have the highest number of cases. Washington State Governor Jay Inslee says his state is returning more than 400 ventilators to the national stockpile so they can be sent to states that need them the most. Now, Inslee says weeks of a statewide stay-at-home order have brought down infection numbers and deaths in Washington. The first large outbreaks of the coronavirus started in Washington state, including one at a nursing home outside of Seattle. Most of the ventilators will now go to New York. Well, as COVID-19 restrictions have increased, podcast downloads have steadily decreased over the last month. Great Falls podcasters were noticing the same trend. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt has the story.
The smart folks have a blast, the Get It Factory.
Believe in the Get It Factory podcast has been streaming since 2018, sharing stories of successful men and women from Montana and beyond.
What's the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, so we're just really, I guess, a human interest-based show. So we love to interview people who have found success in one way or another.
Although national podcasts are trending downward, Believe in the Get It Factory was just renewed for a second season.
It brings a level of legitimacy, I think, that we didn't have before. We kind of always had to prove ourselves because I think podcasts kind of sometimes come with this idea of anybody can do it, because that's kind of the beauty of it, is anybody can do it.
Anybody can start a podcast, but not just anyone can keep one going during times like these. Except Ryan and Becky Akra.
We were prepared, and now people have time. So it's actually been an uptick for us in being able to book guests and kind of get things going.
The Great Falls podcasters have long relied on the technology that's now taking over the quarantined world.
Because we've tried to get started in a small Montana town, we've had to be creative and think outside of the box the whole time.
Being in Great Falls, it's not easy necessarily to get guests. So we've been using Zoom and Skype and FaceTime since we started.
Since they've managed to keep their podcast on air, their next goal is
to use this as an opportunity
to connect with their community.
I think at the end of the day, people need people. And so that, I think, is where this podcast can be really successful in a lot of different ways, is it just does that, it hits that connection piece that people are missing right now, locked up.
The human connection that transcends time, space, and even airwaves. In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. Now, the need for fast and sanitary deliveries has never been higher, with more than 80 million Americans ordered to stay at home. Employees at the UPS store in Great Falls say some of the biggest items shipped out of the Electric City lately are toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and diapers. Now, that's because the supplies are down in other cities. Store manager Jamie Christian says we are catering to all the people who are working from home, who need to send important documents and still need to keep their businesses going. According to the World Health Organization, COVID-19 cannot stay long on objects such as letters and packages. Well, right now, many Americans are choosing to buy groceries online, but not everyone has that option. Only 6 states allow people who use food stamps to shop online. 2 of them are part of a pilot program that gives SNAP recipients a debit-style benefit card. Many state governments are asking the Department of Agriculture to expand the program during this pandemic. Food security activists are also asking that the in-person interview needed to get food stamps be waived for right now. Well, every year, Special Olympic athletes prepare for the Summer Games, but since sports training has been canceled due to social distancing recommendations, Summer Games and training will look a bit different this year. In order to help maintain the athletes' physical and social health, Special Olympics Montana is encouraging Special Olympians to use viral training sessions to connect with their fellow teammates and keep up their healthy habits. As participants complete their virtual training, they will gear up for the Summer Games later this year that will focus on non-competitive sports. Now, the athletes can practice from the comfort of their homes. CEO of Special Olympics Montana, Rhonda McCarty, says these training sessions are an important tool to keep Special Olympians connected.
I think the topics we're able to talk about, are relevant to everybody right now. We all need to figure out how to stay healthy and in shape out of our normal routine. Those gym rats that we know, they're struggling right now. So they're able to join us and get some workout tips for how to do it in your living room. So I think it's really just applicable to everybody in our community, Special Olympics and beyond.
And the sessions are not just for those who are involved with Special Olympics. Training sessions are streamed on Facebook Tuesday and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Well, as many churches go virtual with their services, one Helena church is also adding sign language. Christine serves as a sign language interpreter for the Church of the Nazarene in Helena. For the last 3 weeks, the church has gone live on Facebook every Sunday with Christine providing sign language through the service. The pastor says bringing everyone together, including the deaf and hard of hearing community, is important during these times in a pandemic.
To endure. We got to endure. We'll get through it. And in the meantime, we'll just help each other out and endure this thing with faith and love. We'll get through. Everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be okay. Rob Griggs joining us now with some pretty okay weather.
Sure enough, yeah, and I agree. Everything is going to be okay. We've got a tough road to hoe right now, but we're pressing on, and that's really what we need to do. And the weather's going to cooperate, so we can do a little pressing on outside here for a change. That's kind of nice. Unless you're in Kalispell or Missoula, you might want to wear a jacket, take an umbrella. There's some showers out there right now. The further east you get, the more sunshine we have. We do have a couple of thunderstorms in our forecast. We'll be talking about that. Yesterday's high got into the 50s and 60s. Will be a little bit warmer out in eastern Montana. Right now, for example, in Billings, there's some clouds, but it's already warmed up to 56 degrees. And over in Helena right now, sunshine, clouds, and 57. We'll take a complete look at that statewide forecast in just a moment. Janelle?
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, we have more news ahead on your noon news, including the results of the Gaucho Derby. Well, if you haven't heard about this race, it's one you'll want to check out because the winner is from Montana. The time now is 12:07, but first, Rob's in next with your statewide weather forecast.
Down through Nebraska into Colorado and Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, and the corner of Texas, all of these areas under red flag fire warning. Denver will hit a high of about 69, 70 degrees today. They're on their way to that right now. Meanwhile, across the Pacific Northwest, we've got the southwest flow pulling some of this moisture and cloud cover down from California and from Nevada. And it's also meeting with a little bit of cold air that's sagged on down from Canada. That's what's providing some of those higher elevation snow showers out in northwest Montana. Right now, again, looking at Butte today, we've got some clouds in the sky, 48 degrees, north winds about 3 miles an hour. And over in Great Falls, a little bit of sunshine, some high clouds, gusting winds up to 26 miles an hour, but at 56 degrees is not affecting the temperature, not even one little bit. Where we mentioned the showers, you can see those in the last 3 hours, a mixture of rain and snow there just to the south of Missoula, heading over toward Helena, where we're also going to see some showers, 48 degrees and 57 respectively. Jordan right now out in eastern Montana, 56. And you can see there have been a few showers all the way from Sheridan, Wyoming, up toward Glendive in the last few hours, but for the most part, a drying trend underway until a little bit later on when we start to see some of those potential thunderstorms roll through. Winds are also picking up as we expected they would up along the high line over toward Missoula, out to the west and east, Great Falls, also Lewistown, Helena. You can see some gusty winds over toward Dillon. Quiet right now in central and eastern Montana, and warmer all the way across the state and the region from where we were 24 hours ago, and in some cases by, 22 degrees warmer right now than we were this time yesterday up in Cutbank. So here's the drill. We've got a low pressure system that's just sort of passing through, and as we see that move through later on today, I'll get out of the way so you can see it'll fire up a couple of thunderstorms in south central and southeastern Montana. We're not expecting any strong storms, probably just some lightning, maybe a little bit of rain associated with that. It's not a very big mass of weather by any stretch. Some cooler temperatures up in northeastern Montana will finally give way to a bit of a warming trend as we head into Tuesday, but also wind will be the big issue for us across the state. And then after we have a fairly warm Tuesday, by evening time, another cold front sagging on down from Canada will bring some cooler temperatures for a one-day sail, and the wind will stay with us. The one feature about this cold front, though, for the most part, it's going to be a dry cold front, so it'll just bring temperatures down about 10, even 15 degrees at some locations. Here's a quick look at our forecast across the state today. We go from 56 degrees out here in Williston, North Dakota, staying in the 50s and 60s all the way across the High Line. We see a couple of 40s. Of course, West Yellowstone on the chilly side, 43. This is the area where we're going to see some of those thunderstorms this afternoon. Tonight, we're going to look for a little bit more wind across the state, but, you know, pretty decent temperatures. Some showers out there in western Montana between Missoula, Great Falls, and Helena. And then tomorrow, we see wind, slightly warmer temperatures at several locations. Some places will break about even from where we were yesterday up on the High Line, and even western Montana breaking even. But we're going to have a little bit more sunshine and really not a whole lot of chance for precipitation. Let's take a quick look at our 3-day forecast for Kalispell, Great Falls, Missoula, and Helena. We've got some showers, as I say, out west. Fewer as we move a little bit further to the east, but central Montana will be breezy at times. And then you can see for Butte, Bozeman, Glendive, and Billings, we're moving well into the 50s, even into the 60s as we head out east. Janelle?
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, the Gaucho Derby tests the rider and the horse through hundreds of miles of dangerous trails in Argentina. MTN's John Miller shares the story about how one Manhattan, Montana woman took on the challenge.
The Gaucho Derby is a new horse and human endurance race that spans 310 miles over 10 days through the tough terrain of the Patagonia region of Argentina. Manhattan's Marie Griffiths took part in it a few weeks ago, taking home first place. Living in Montana, it helped Griffiths navigate through the difficult terrain and the unpredictable weather.
Our experience and perhaps our training in the winter of Montana got us through, and neither of us had any issues.
She wasn't doing it alone. Her partner had a horse who helped lead the way through the bogs, which Griffiths describes as the most difficult part of the race.
He would either very willingly take a step out onto the bog, or he would just kind of shy away. And we learned that if he shied away, we weren't going to go through it.
A few miles away from the finish line, the chance to grab first place almost came to a screeching halt.
And my horse actually slid down the mountain quite a ways until it got stopped in some rocks. It got banged up, but I was able to get it out of there.
After getting back on track, she took home first place. However, she had no time to celebrate with COVID-19 shutting things down across the globe.
Because as soon as we passed the finish line, it was, hey, by the way, the borders have closed from Argentina to America.
Although Griffiths was enthused to finish first and complete the race, it doesn't sound like a repeat is in the cards.
I have no desire to go back and do that race. It was very, very dangerous.
Even though she won't be doing it again, Griffiths will always be the first ever Gaucho Derby winner. In Bozeman, John Miller, MTN Sports.
And congratulations, and I understand not going back again. Well, your latest ag news is up next with Lane Nordland. We'll be right back.
Farm and Ranch Report from the Montana Ag Network. Welcome back for our Farm and Ranch News. With food services, restaurants, and schools closed, dairy farmers across the nation are having to discard thousands of pounds of milk. It's one of the effects the coronavirus is having on the U.S. economy. Looking to the heart of dairy country, Sean Gallagher with WTMJ News out of Milwaukee has more.
Ryan Elby has seen a lot during his family's nearly 30 years running a dairy farm, but never anything like this.
It's very disheartening to watch your hard work go down the drain.
Here at Golden Eat Dairy Farm, they are dumping 25 to 30,000 gallons of precious milk per day, and they don't know when it'll stop.
Nothing is going to change other than the fact there is no milk leaving this farm.
Ryan's milk cooperative told him to dump all of his milk for the next week. That's tens of thousands of dollars a day going to waste. But he's told dumping the milk is for the betterment of the industry.
The trigger here is to get the markets moving again, and that will take as long as it takes to get restaurants reopened, schools reopened, and to find some normalcy back in the market.
John Umheifer with the Cheesemakers Association says there's an oversupply of milk in the market. So he says there's plenty of milk out there for people. So giving it away for free would be detrimental to the industry.
We have turned to USDA and asked the government to step in and buy dairy products that they could give to feeding programs and give to school lunch programs. So get people fed and get money back to that dairy farmer.
That way, he says, farms like Ryan's will be able to stay afloat.
I don't know if it'll affect us financially right now, but if we don't get paid, it will, obviously, but I'm told we will. Who's going to reimburse us, whether it is the cooperative, DFA, or the government, that is uncertain as of this time, but right now we're told we will be reimbursed.
So for at least the next week, Ryan's 2,400 cows will continue producing milk, only for it to end up down the drain. In West Bend, Sean Gallagher, TMJ4 News.
Dairy farmers have shared their frustrations on social media as the already fragile U.S. dairy industry is hit with another blow. Farmers are asking the government to make a large dairy commodity purchase that could be utilized and distributed to food pantries instead of going down the drain. We'll be right back. Returning back today, as Americans are spending more time at home, parents may need some meal inspiration to keep the whole family happy. The Beef Checkoff is offering some help with recipes that everyone in the family can enjoy and even make together. BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com is a resource for those kid-friendly options that can be made with kitchen staples many families already have on hand. These family favorites can help simplify mealtime. For example, the website has recipes that call for 5 ingredients or less, or affordable meals under $15. It even offers virtual farm and ranch tours to help educate kids when they're being homeschooled. Visit BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com for more. Well, and speaking of beef, the Coal Cow Market continues the uptrend to average $63.58 in March compared to $61.28 in February, according to CattleFax. Last week's quote of $67.39 may have been the annual high, or at least the upper end of the range. The quick rally was driven by a surge in demand as retailers scrambled to replenish shelves after consumer stockpiling. CattleFax predicts the supply will seasonally decline, which is supportive to prices. However, demand will be the main driver in the short term. That's all we have for today. Have a great day, friends.
All right, thanks so much, Lane. Now, gas prices are the lowest they've been in years, but for many states, this adds to economic turmoil. Many states rely on crude oil sales as part of their state budget. Already, New Mexico's governor has slashed infrastructure spending and plans to make cuts in other areas. Alaska has dipped into its savings account to make up for the revenue lost in oil. And in Texas, more than 361,000 people are employed in the oil industry and now face layoffs. Well, a local Montana Facebook group saying thank you to healthcare workers and first responders exploded over the weekend. The page Howl for Billings has more than 11,000 members right now. Its message is simple. Go outside at 8 o'clock each night and howl or cheer for those on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic. Well, last night people were reported hearing howls all across the city, as well as some fireworks too. And take a look at this. An elephant named Lucky celebrated her 60th birthday yesterday. The San Antonio Zoo says Lucky lives up to her name. She's lived a dozen years older than the species live in the wild. The zoo celebrated by decorating Lucky's exhibit with signs and treats. Keepers even made a massive cake out of fruits and vegetables. Elephants usually live for about 48 years in the wild. There's a lot of good news out there. There's a lot of good things amidst all of this turmoil.
You bet. We got to grab onto those things and hold on to them as we plow through. Well, today's going to be one of those days where we'll probably see a shower or a thunderstorm southeastern Montana. Obviously, some showers still up toward Missoula and Kalispell, but look at those highs. Each location easy to get outside and do some social distancing in the sun.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Rob. Have a great day, everyone.